Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to Tea Time. Today's topic has to do with placing your attention on what you appreciate in order to grow it. Now, this is a very powerful message, especially if you're an entrepreneur or a parent or a teenager. So sometimes something that you're doing is really, really right on, but you don't notice it because it hasn't been pointed out to you. But when you do notice it and it is pointed out to you, you're able to grow it. So I'm going to give you a short story. Please bear with me. I've tried multiple times to consolidate the story to make it easy to transfer to you. I'm going to do my best here. So I have two really good friends who are also trailblazers and pioneers along with me at Joy Based Living. One of them sells a very leading edge health product called ASEA. The other one of them was receiving this health product, which it completely removed like a bump that was on her nose, and it removed some coloring that was going on in her fingers when she was lifting things, like little blood vessels had been popping, and it had completely stopped. It was just quite amazing just after a couple weeks. Anyway, so I was spending time with the friend who had received these benefits, and she had some questions for the person who sells the health product as well. And so I said, well, why don't we go ahead and give her a call? And she's like, well, I don't want to bother her. I don't want to interrupt her. And I think a lot of people feel that way. And I think if you're an entrepreneur, you're in sales or something like that, you may have that belief as well. Of I don't want to bother people, I don't want to interrupt them. You know, it's the story that stops people. Teenagers can stop themselves as well from talking and saying things that are important. Parents can do the same thing. So taking a step back, so I'm with this friend who had received these benefits and who had these questions. And I said, well, why don't we go ahead and give this other person a call? You know her, and you know she loves you, and you know she wants the best for you. And so she let me convince her to do that. And when we made the call, the healer person was thrilled to receive the call. She was like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to answer your questions. And she was so delighted to hear about the testimonials and the questions. And you could see on her face, she was really delighted. Now, that person who was selling the product is also somebody who's at home a lot because she's caretaking her 93-year-old mother, has been for the last couple years. And I contacted her after the interaction with our three-way it was a Facebook message, a FaceTime kind of call. And I said, are you aware of how delighted you looked to receive that phone call? And it might be a really good idea for you to let your clients and your prospects and the people you care about, to let them know how much you appreciate their calls, their questions, their stories, their testimonials, and that in fact the opposite of bothering you, they're giving you a little break in your day. They're giving you something energizing and joyful to focus on. They're giving you something to step out of your own small world. And she said, that is so true. I really, really enjoyed it. And so my job is noticing. That's my primary job, is noticing and then naming and then helping people spotlight what's right. When you spotlight what's right, so for example, for that person to let that client know, for my friend who is selling the product, to let that person know through a letter, through an email, through a phone call, thank you so much for contacting me. I really enjoyed connecting with you. That changes the game. So many people in the world today feel lonely. We see this all over the place. We see this on news agendas. We see this as a global problem. Well, if you're in sales or you're a parent or even if you are a teenager, you are in a great position to eliminate that by spotlighting what's right and having the courage to connect and saying, thank you so much. And when we are creating a world in joy-based living and now spreading it outward where people have the courage and use their courage to make these connections, and little connections like that. One of the things that the person who sells this product, her name is Julie Jordan, by the way, if you ever want to reach her. Julie Jordan sells ASEA, ASEA. I didn't say it before because I didn't want this to feel like a sales pitch to you. One of the things that she says is the little things are the big things. And a little postcard, a little email, a little phone call saying, thank you for reaching out to me, can actually transform your whole world. So I challenge you to think about 1 or 2 or 3 people who you had an interaction with. It even could be a cashier that you had an interaction with that was really positive. And you go, you know what? I want to place my attention on that and spotlight it and highlight it. And when you do that, there will be a glow that comes from your heart. And guess what? That's called appreciation. It's even called love. And that's how we practice love in action at Joy-Based Living. Thank you so very much for being with me, pioneering, trailblazing, co-creating a new world.